Yo, what's good? Welcome to my ECW One Night Stand review for the show that happened in 2005. It happened June 12th, 2005. So, about 10 years, a little bit more than 10 years from now. And this was the better of the two. There was two ECW One Night Stands, the 2005 and 2006, and this one's just a better show. And I think it's widely accepted that this is one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time that WWE has put out. This was just a fun show. And I think even like I said in the Rise and Fall of ECW review, even if you know nothing about ECW or you were the biggest fan of ECW, you will love this show, man. If you're not a wrestling fan, I truly believe you will still love this show. Okay. The pay-per-view starts with Joey Styles coming out. He's like, "Oh my god!" Giving his usual. That was pretty much his catchphrase when back in the original ECW days, and he kind of starts crying, and then he just goes back on commentary. So the first match is Lance Storm versus Chris Jericho, and this was a really good opener, a really good way to open the show. Had a lot of wrestling holds. Like, this was for the most part a pure wrestling match with arm drags and um, German suplexes and submission moves, Boston Crabs, of course, Chris Jericho's Walls of Jericho, Calgary Crabs from Lance Storm, reversals, high spots. You got a few high spots off the rope. So yeah, this was a very good opener. I do I would recommend watching this match on its own because it is that good. Probably not the greatest match Lance Storm and Chris Jericho had, but a very good opener. The match ended when they were called when what's his name? Freaking Just Incredible. He came out and hit Chris Jericho with a candlestick, and that's when they pinned him. Lance Storm pinned Chris Jericho, and they posed, and then yeah, so that's how that one ended. The second match was a three-way dance, which a three-way dance is like a triple threat match, which is three wrestlers, but it's like an elimination status. It was Tajiri versus Super Crazy versus Lito Guido. Talk about a fast-paced like cruiserweight fight. You got Super Crazy, who's a amazing wrestler, man. Has that lucha libre style. And you got Tajiri, who's Japanese. He had Sinister Minister and Mikey Whipwreck, and Nunzio had that. Nunzio, known as Little Guido in ECW, he had the FBI with him, which was like four dudes: Tony Mamaluke, um, and all the other dudes from the FBI. So you know there was gonna be an interference, and good thing there was because Super Crazy did a moonsault dive off the balcony. Out probably was like 15, 20 feet, and then he just dropped everyone. It was like 10 dudes, man. This match is really good and just really fun. Nunzio gets a Little Guido. Little Guido gets eliminated at first and just leaves Super Crazy and Tajiri to fight on their own for a while. And then Super Crazy gets the win with the moonsault off the first rope, second rope, and then he does one off the third rope to get the win. A very entertaining fight. And throughout the whole pay-per-view, they put like little vignettes of the olden days of ECW. So they put like early days of ECW, the middle days, and then the later days of ECW throughout the whole show, just so you get an idea of what ECW was and what it meant for the wrestlers that were participating in it during those years. Next match was Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis, which was a good match. I don't think no match in this card was less than 3 stars. I don't believe. Definitely could have been better. I think it's cause Psychosis. He wasn't trying. He was trying to like wrestle him with his ground game. He wasn't really doing high flying. Which this is a lucha match, so and Psychosis and Rey Mysterio are known for the lucha libre style, but Psychosis was trying to keep it to the mat. You had a few high spots, not anything like that you've never seen before, but ones that make this match worth watching at least once too. So there is no skippable matches in this pay per view. I do not believe. Yeah, so there was a storyline going on in SmackDown and Raw that the ECW guys were invading WWE. So they were like, okay, we're gonna go to your show and invade your show. So you had the SmackDown guys coming in after the Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis fight. You had Kurt Angle was all talking trash to the fans, and and the fans started chanting, "You suck dick, you suck dick." Listen to this, the comeback, guys. He says, "Your mom taught me how." Oh, Kurt Angle's so unintentionally funny, man. But yeah, JBL kept talking garbage throughout throughout the whole throughout the whole event as well. Yeah. This when JBL was doing his own shoot, and then he was like talking crap about ECW and how they went out of business and how it was garbage and how he was a wrestling god as he was calling himself at that time. Then RVD comes into the ring. RVD had knee surgery a few months ago, and then they cut off JBL's mic, which was funny because he was pretty getting annoying on everybody's nerves at that point. RVD did a shoot interview himself about the great days about ECW and how it hurt that he could not compete in this. He said this. He said it hurt more than missing Booker T's wedding that year, and it hurt more than missing Wrestle Freaking Mania. That's how he said it. Which he did miss WrestleMania that year, but missing this One Night Stand was worse than missing WrestleMania for him at that point. And he was saying how ECW he was the man, and how he was RVD Force 20 because he just smoked that ass, and how just the great days of ECW, how great it was. And then Rhino comes out and gores the shit out of RVD. Then the lights turn off. You're like, whoa, Joey Styles like, dude, what the hell? Did we get a power outage? And then the lights turn back on. It's Sabu. So you get the match between Sabu and Rhino. And it's everything you would think a match with Sabu and Rhino would be. Rhino trying to do the power moves and Sabu using his body on the line. You know, he doesn't care if he hurts himself just to hurt you, just to hurt his opponent type of match. You get Arabian Facebusters. RVD even came in the match in the time that Rhino was winning the match. RVD came in and hit Rhino with a chair, and then he does a Van Terminator. No. Is it a Van Terminator? Which is the one where he goes into the corner and then he runs and throws and puts the chair right in his face and drop kicks you? I think that's the Van Terminator. He does a Van Terminator to Rhino into his face, and then he puts Rhino on a table, and Sabu does a Arabian skull crusher on Rhino through the table. A very good match. It wasn't very long, but it was very entertaining. You got a promo by Al Snow. He's like, "Yeah, these guys are trying to take him over. Why did you bring him with Head?" Those that aren't familiar with Head, it was like a mannequin, a head, like for women to practice cosmetics in. He had one of those, and he wrote Head on the top. It was basically for a pun. Everybody would yell, "We want Head! We want Head!" ECW was amazing, man. I wish I was alive and watching wrestling at that point. And then you got the Raw superstars coming in. You got guys like Eric Bischoff coming in, and Jonathan Coachman, Rob Conway, and Edge. The next match, I think this match stole the show, man. Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome. This match was violent. I'm talking about chair shots to the head. So many chair shots. Hard chair. Bam! You want to tell me wrestling's fake, man? Watch that match. Nothing fake about it. Tables, people breaking tables out of no, like, for no, not for no reason, but table after tables being broken. Mike Awesome, he power bombed Tanaka off the apron of the ring into a table that he had leaning on the rails, and I swear to God, dude, Tanaka landed on his head, dude. I don't know how he continued that match and continued taking the punishment, man. The ending was freaking awesome too. Mike Awesome again powerbombed Tanaka over the top rope through a table, and the camera was still focused on Tanaka when you just see Mike Awesome do a suicide dive over the top rope and fall on Tanaka to win the match, man. This match was freaking brutal, man. Next up, Paul Heyman came into the ring and he wants to thank everybody. He says this funny line about I guess his eyes were watering. He's like, "Oh, no, I'm not crying. I was smoking a joint with Van Damme in the back." And he's like, "Oh, I was gonna take the high road, but I got something to say to you guys." And he totally murked everybody. The SmackDown and Raw Crusaders, man. He murked them. He talked trash about Eric Bischoff, saying that he wasn't the one going to a WCW show, you know. And Edge was there. He's like, "Hi to your wives, it's Edge." And he said, "I got 2 words for you that nobody wants to say. Matt freaking Hardy." And Edge was drinking a beer and he spit it out because he didn't expect that. And then he tried to play it off like, "Oh, that's 3 words. That's 3 words." And JBL, he's like, "Oh, it's the wrestling god." He told him the only reason he was champion for a year is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. Damn. So JBL had a run for like about 10 months on on SmackDown. He was WWE champion on SmackDown for like 10 months back in 2004, and SmackDowns go live on Tuesday, but they show them until Friday then. But Triple H was on Raw, which is on Monday, and Triple H is like a political freaking bastard. He always wants to get the title. He never want to let anyone beat him cleanly, and he always wants the titles. So saying that the only reason he was champion is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays, that's a pretty good insult actually. So I think he leaves with that. And yeah, he leaves with like, this ain't WCW. It's not Raw. It's not SmackDown. It's not even WWE. It's EC fucking W. And the crowd cheers, and then they go back. And the last match is very entertaining, very fun match. Dudley Boys come out, Tommy Dreamer comes out, then you got Sandman who comes out. And Sandman, for those that haven't seen it, Sandman has probably the best entrance in wrestling history, man. He comes out through the crowd. He's drinking a beer. He's holding a candlestick, and he has a cigarette in his mouth, man. He chugs down the beer, and then he breaks the beer can in his forehead, and he starts bleeding even before the match starts. The only gripe I have about buying it on DVD is that you don't get Enter Sandman, the song from Metallica. That was Sandman's entrance music back in ECW, and that's the That's the song he actually entered the ring with in this fight, in this match. But you don't get it in the DVD, so you have to see it online or something. That's the only thing wrong with this DVD, I believe, because they dub over it, put another song, and it's just not the same. It's not as cool at all. You don't hear everybody singing, "You're back to Never Never Land," Exit light, enter night, take my hand. We're back to Never Never Land. I love that song too. But yeah, before the match starts, you have the BWO, the Blue World Order, coming out. Stevie Richards yelling, "We're taking over!" Kicking Sandman right in the face. Kid Cash comes out, Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten. They have like a brawl, and then they just leave, and then the match starts. This match was brutal too. They got tables, cheese grater, chairs, kendo sticks, some hard kendo sticks, man. Sandman was getting these guys with hard candlestick shots to the freaking head, dude. You got signs, barbed wire spheres, interference by Lance Storm and Justin Credible. They came back. This match ended when the Dudleys power bombed Tommy Dreamer through a flaming table. Spike Dudley comes out and he gives Bubba Ray and Devon a lighter and a bunch of lighter fluid. They spill it all over the table, and then they light it on fire, and then they throw poor Tommy Dreamer through that table, man. They win. Yeah, so the Dudley Boys win the match, but then Sandman hits them with the candlestick and they leave. Then you hear the glass breaks. Stone Cold comes out, and because Sandman yelled, "I want a beer," and then that Stone Cold comes out and he's like, "Oh, everybody come out, have a beer bash." So everybody that was a part of the show, they came out and like, "Yeah, I want a beer, of course." Well, Stone Cold's like, "Yo, nah, we came to fight. What's up with those guys up there?" So he called them out and they didn't want to come. And Stone Cold's like, "If you don't come up there, I'm going to go up there and slap each and every one of you." And so they came down. They had a brawl. The ECW guys come out on top. Mick Foley grabs Eric Bischoff, throws him into the ring, and a bunch of dudes do moves on him. Rey Mysterio does a 619. The Dudleys do a 3D on Eric Bischoff, and Chris Benoit does the flying headbutt. And then Stone Cold's like, "What are your thoughts on the evening?" And he was all on the ground, knocked out, and he puts the mic to his face. And Eric Bischoff's like, "Fuck ECW." You just hear boo. Dudley lift him up. He's like, Ray, can you hold my beer for a second, please?" Stone Cold Stunner. Stone Cold Stunner. The crowd erupts. Stone Cold's like, "Yeah, let's drink some beer." And that's how it ends, ladies and gentlemen. A very good show. I rate this event 5 stars out of 5 stars. A must watch, and I believe it's a must watch, a must buy if you're a wrestling fan. A must buy. I'm gonna do a rating system. So 5, I will do a must watch, must buy. 4 is a must watch for sure. 3 is a movie or a pay-per-view or something, an event that you gotta watch at least you gotta watch at least once. A 2 star is very poorly. I regret watching it. And a 1 star is, don't watch that shit. Don't watch that garbage. Don't even waste your time. So that's part of my rating systems. And yeah, this event, I give this event 5 stars. Buy this event. If you love ECW, if you love wrestling, I think you have to buy this. It's very entertaining, a very fun show, man. I could probably watch it any day of the week, man, for real. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And You guys have a great day. Peace.